This is JCU Conversations, a podcast show from James Cook University, Singapore. Tune in as we ask experts in the industry more about their lives and their approach to success. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Let's listen to today's episode.
Hi, my name is Jason Pomeroy. I'm the founding principal of Pomeroy Studio and Pomeroy Academy, designers and thought leaders of sustainable built environments. I'm delighted to be here today to host JCU Conversations, an initiative by James Cook University, Singapore. I'm delighted to be joined here today by Wong Heang. He is the Group Chief Executive Officer of Surbana Jurong, a global architecture and engineering firm that has delivered over 1 million homes in Singapore and 100 industrial parks globally. I'm certainly looking forward to learning a bit more about what this gentleman ticks in terms of leadership, entrepreneurialism, and Mr. Wong, welcome.
Thank you.
So I hope you won't mind that we start by kind of kicking off on the psychology couch. I want to find out a bit more about what makes you tick. Tell me a bit more about your childhood.
Well, sure, Jason. I guess for our generation, our childhood is really quite a challenging one. And let me just start by saying that, today we are in a very different world because when we were a child, the only time we see a full chicken on the table is Chinese New Year. And the other times you don't get, to see such good food being served. But today, that's a daily phenomenon. And you can see that, today, we have moved quite a lot. And during our childhood, we didn't have the luxury of buying toys. We have to make our own toys. So I guess, the experience of, doing things yourself, it's probably a trademark of our generations.
Now, you are the Group Chief Executive Officer of Surbana Jurong, global architectural and engineering firm, and you've got some remarkable accolades. When I think of the fact that you've created over 1 million homes in Singapore, you've created over 100 industrial parks globally. Tell us a bit more about this ethos that Surbana Jurong is building cities and shaping better lives.
Well, I guess, the Group CEO title is a bit misnomer. And I always say to my friends that I'm actually the Group Chief Slave. And part of that reason is that a lot of our work is really to translate visions of government and entrepreneurs into reality. So that's the silent part, and a lot of our creations and a lot of our, I would say, innovations go unsung. And I guess for a lot of students of JCU, you really, when you come out to the world to work, you must recognize that. And therefore, our satisfaction is really to see some of this project being translated from vision into reality.
It's interesting that you mentioned sort of like chief slave, and I mean, I guess it talks very much about your hard working ethic. How much can you owe to your upbringing as a child to where you are today as a thought leader within the built environment?
I think, for a lot of us globally, our experiences when we are young, and particularly during the teenager period, really helps to mold a person's perception of how one would approach challenges. So just for myself, I have been deeply involved in the built environment since I am small.
Really?
Yes.
Since what age?
Well, as young as 11 and 12.
Okay.
Yeah, because I will follow my father to the job site. Yeah.
He was in construction?
Yes, he was in construction and helped to do all the concreting, And during holidays, we will work to help to calculate, doing quantity surveying, calculating how much steel and concrete to price the job.
So you could say that construction is almost in your blood
Yes,
from a very
yes,
early
yes,
age.
Yes. So, and as you get to site, then you can understand, that, in the built environment particularly, the chemistry among the teams are very important. And that really is what makes and break projects. If you don't get that chemistry among the different discipline and the different groups of people on a particular built environment project, you will find that small problems becomes very big. And once you get that right, the big problems becomes very small.
I think that speaks a lot also about the interdisciplinary approach that Surbana Jurong takes on board. I guess the ability to look beyond just architecture and engineering in silos as an interconnected mechanism to shape better lives and build better cities. Arguably, I would like to know whether that was something that you were picking up at your university days, or whether that's something that you still found as a young child walking around the building sites with your father.
I think, Jason, you use the word, collaborative, and really my experience in the childhood working on the site and going through projects and so on, has probably influenced a lot more than at the universities. At the universities, you learn I would say, the basics. But that basics can only help you so much. So you need to gather that experience. And of course, having from young, participated in the projects and went to site and seeing the different trades, how the different trades fits in, and the various discipline fitting in, helps you, in your career to understand the mechanics of what a successful project looks like and how to get that. I would say chemistry, correct. And a famous analogy that I always use to all my seniors is the fried rice story.
Okay. Enlighten me.
I think the place that now serves that famous fried rice has gone.
Okay.
It's this place that serves fried rice not at $2-3 a plate. It costs at least $50 a plate. And it's it's a long queue. For people to go and try it. But it is manned by two sisters. And the secret of that fried rice is really that first, of course, they buy the best ingredient from the market. You will find that the ingredients are so fresh. But really the success or the secret behind getting that flavor and getting that right is the temperature of the wok that they use, or the fire, and that really brings out that uniqueness, the freshness, and the taste in that fried rice. So to me, if you the analogy is very apt because in our business you really get that environment of collaboration going, environment where people can share what's the issue and openly discuss how to solve that particular issue, and not just stand on their own principles and thinking, which will prevent a lot of things from happening.
I have a similar analogy relating to red wine, so I look forward to the time that we can bring the fried rice and the red wine together in a collaborative way. I want to go back to experience. You mentioned experience, and I'd be keen to know what your first job was and how did that shape your view of where you would be in the future. Can you take me back to that point of your first architectural or engineering project?
So the first, I would say, my first job is really to work for the government. So when I came back from UK, I joined the Singapore Economic Development Board. And that is really the agency for the Singapore government to attract investments into Singapore. And that first job led me to interact with all the who's in the industry. Yeah. So you get to meet the chairman, the CEO, and interact with them, and that really brought together an acknowledgement of how the higher echelon management thinks and look at issues, and that is really a good insight.
Would you say that you were inspired by them? I mean, if you're within this happy party of leaders, influencers, who are able to turn the wheels of economic progress, would you say that they inspired you to be the leader that you are today, or was it a very different path that you took?
I think I wouldn't say inspired me, but I think it gave me a lot of insight into how famous entrepreneurs think and how corporate thinks. Yeah. And it's really, you have a first-hand interaction, with people who have built businesses from nothing, and from big corporates, the American MNCs, and then you can see the difference in terms of thinking approach, and that really gives you an insight into what part of that business is interesting and most excites you.
So that's quite interesting that you mentioned in that sentence the reference to the corporate world, but also the reference to the entrepreneur. Are these two different worlds that they operate in? I mean, we have seen globally the rise of tech entrepreneurs who may not necessarily have the commercial business sense to lead large corporations. Similarly, the large corporate player does not necessarily have the chops to be able to have that spark of innovation and entrepreneurialism. Do you think the two can be intertwined, or do you think that there are two different animals?
Absolutely. I can tell you that depending on what stage the company is, then you need to adjust your, I would say, operating approach quite differently. So when you are building business, as we were building Surbana Jurong, we need to be entrepreneurial. Yeah, we need to look at things, and we need to be bold enough to take that step and to reach out to people. Have that desire to take that extra step and push the boundaries. Yeah, but once you grow to a certain stage, as we are now, today we are in 40 countries. We have 16,000 employees. Our turnover is 1.8 billion last year. And, so the company is in a different state, and therefore we need to put in more corporate procedures. More, I would say, processes in order for us to stay on top of our businesses.
Does that stifle innovation? Does that stifle creativity? It's often seen that the large corporation, as it scales, especially if it's related to the creative or innovative industries, has these mechanisms that allow the corporation to grow but can stifle.
Absolutely.
How do you deal with that?
Absolutely. So you need to, and that's where understanding of the business is. Today we are multidisciplinary, so we are in architecture, engineering, projects, QS, and each of these group of people, because of their training and their background and their culture and so on, thinks differently. So we need to therefore have processes which are standardized, but they are localized. So it caters to the needs of the discipline.
I see.
Yeah. So that's something that I guess a lot of businesses find hard to transform. And this one I want to relate back to the universities. And as as universities teach students, one of the things that I think universities going forward is really to teach students to adapt.
Yes.
The adaptability of young entrants into the industry, it's very critical. Because once you can adapt, you mold yourself, and depending on the type of organizations that you join, you need to structure your approach quite differently. If you join a big corporate and you don't tailor yourself to adhere to processes, it's tough life.
Indeed.
Whereas if you join an entrepreneur and you try to be very, very corporate, with full of processes, and you try and manage that, you'll be dead. So to me, as far as university is concerned, while teaching giving them that skill set,
yes.
In the particular discipline, they also needs to impart on them the ability to adapt. And that's where you really need to go through the mills, so to speak.
I'll certainly come back to education, but I want to pick up on that point about trying to find the happy balance between the corporate world and the entrepreneurial world. I'm no stranger to the fact that Surbana Jurong have acquired companies like Atelier 10, a fantastic environmental consultancy that's really cutting edge when it comes to sustainability. Robert Bird Group, a fantastic engineering firm, and the acquisition of these niche disciplines that have real skills and expertise. How can you ensure that those leaders, experts within their field of specialism, still have a voice within the larger corporation? And how does it add value to the bigger corporation like Surbana Jurong?
So if you look at our journey over the last 7 years, we have gone out to identify, I would say brands that are specialists in their sector. Because basically, in our built environment, you need to build that talent and capability. Indeed. And you need deep capability. So each of our brands have deep capability. So, and we encourage them to keep the heritage and the uniqueness of the brand, as well as the market recognition of the brands. Because that's one of the key things that we think that they can add. So this relates back to our fried rice and to the ingredients. So I see our brands as the ingredients of this perfect fried rice that we are creating. Right?
You really are giving me an image of an 8-course degustation menu right now, so making me hungry. Thank you.
So at the group level, we make sure that the temperature that we operate is at the most optimum. That's the group perspective, the group job. So when we add all these brands together, and as they come together to go and deliver a sustainable and a best solutions for our client, we make sure that the temperature in which they operate and collaborate is really at the right temperature. And so to us, it's really getting that right and making sure the teams mold together to provide a sustainable solutions for our client. Now, if you look at that scenario, each of them comes in to contribute what they are best at. So, for example, we're doing projects in London where the civil structure is very difficult. We got to go 6-story down, and difficult structure to construct. Then Robert Bird Group will bring that expertise. Sure. But at the same time, you need to make sure that it's sustainable. So Atelier 10 will come in and look at how to make it sustainable, consumes the least energy, minimum heat loss through the glass and all this sort of things. So basically, each of them are bringing in very specific and very niche specialist expertise. And they know each other's strength. And that's where they play the best. So by bringing all these unique brands and unique capabilities together, we therefore ensure that whatever that we do, whether it's a hospital, or whether it's a commercial center or a residential building, or a power plant, and renewables and so on, is really the best of everything. Yeah.
Comes back to collaboration again, I guess. The importance of understanding that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts, and it's not the will of one individual that's going to make a difference. It's the collaboration that does.
And I must add, Jason, in the new world, I must say that it's unlike the old world, where things can happen in silo. And therefore, I think for a lot of the university students coming out to work, they must realize that today, to solve or provide a solution for a problem statement, they need to come together and bring their different expertise.
Indeed.
Yeah. So even in I know JCU is good in the maritime industry. It's not individual. So today we are looking at a vertical fish farm. We've designed and developed for an entrepreneur a fish farm in Singapore that is vertical. Yeah. So basically, that requires us to work with people in the marine industry, right? Or fish rearing, to make it successful. And what it takes, what's the environment that we need to create, to make that fish grow, and free of diseases, for example. So you can see that today, we are getting into a situation where problem statements can only be solved by the different, discipline coming together. Yeah.
It's interesting that you mention education again, and I think that education needs to change in line with a post-pandemic world that is getting smaller through connectivity. And what that often means is a greater collaboration between the academic and the commercial world. I'd be keen to know a bit more about how you can contribute to that conversation. As a leader, what ways do you outreach to knowledge share with the world?
So firstly, at the top, we need to make sure that we embrace innovation and working closely with the institutions, of higher learning. Because, for us, one of the key things in the commercial world is that you are often not in touch with what are the new trends and what are the new developments, and the new things that people are creating. So you need to work with the universities to try and get an insight into what are the rest of the world doing. And they are really in touch with it, because if you want to do R&D, you have to work with them.
Indeed.
Yeah. So to us, we see that as a very close relationship. Yeah. What we bring to the table for a lot of the universities is the commercial perspective. Yeah. A lot of these innovations needs to be commercialized. Yeah. And therefore, often I find that at the university level, they are so deep into innovation, into the research, that they forgot that whatever that they create, needs to be applied into the commercial world, and that's where we try and push that gap. We will then work with the universities and say, hey, if you go along this way, why don't we bring it up? For example, in Singapore, we work with the one of our brands to look at a material where we can apply to structure to help the building structure withstand explosion a bit better. The material has been invented, but the universities find it very hard to commercialize it. Because I say, hey, you got to do a pilot plan. You got to plan that. You got to plan your processes. Then you got to say, okay, you have this material. How are you going to roll it out? It just doesn't go and apply around the structure itself. Right? So now we are working with a paint applicator and a paint company, because they have the resources and the team out there where they paint buildings, right? so we can use the same team to go and apply this material and then paint it over. So for the commercial side, we have all this, networking, and therefore we are able to help the universities to pull the partnership together, and make a POC, a project on to take a look,
So the research goes beyond the academic paper
Yes.
to find application
Absolutely.
in real world settings. Would you say, and this is probably my last question before I will pre-prepare you for a quick fire round, would you say that Surbana Jurong as a corporation is embracing that element of knowledge, cultural innovation? And if so, what future trends can you identify that you think your corporation is going to make a better influence?
Well, for us, although if you strip it down, in terms of our expertise, it may seem to be, knowledge that has been around for maybe decades and centuries. But the application of that knowledge, is what makes our life interesting. So, I can describe to you, we've just finished a 9-kilometer tunnel up in the Himalayas, 10,000 feet above sea level. And that tunnel connects two villages. The difficulty in that is that you don't have enough soil data to make a calculation, how you're going to do it. So you got to adjust as you come along and so on. But the technique of doing that is not new. But it is trying to bring all this expertise together and answer that particular problem statement. And to me, for us, that's really our role. Our role is really to bring everything together and innovate in the sense that apply that different knowledge and make it possible. Because for us, the success of that project is really that now the two villages that connects that in between, that 9-kilometer connects them, they can now have access, 365 days in a year, compared to in the past, half the year they will be separated from the world because there's no way you can reach the other village. So to me, our satisfaction is about bringing our skill set together to help the communities and contribute to their well-being, and to for a lot of us in our built environment, that's the greatest satisfaction, to be able to use our skill set and contribute a bit to the world and make it a better world for everybody.
Build back better, as Biden would say. Quick fire round.
Sure.
I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Sure.
You're going to give me one sentence.
Sure.
Super quick. What pops into your head? You've had an illustrious career as a corporate leader. What's the secret sauce?
Fire in the belly.
If the 21-year-old you could see you today, what would he be thinking?
Impossible.
I like that. I like that. When you wake up in the morning and you look in the mirror, what do you see?
Well, I'm an optimist. So I see that, that rising sun and, good weather and so on.
Is that a halo?
Yes.
What's the bedside table book, or what are you listening on your iPod?
Well, I listen to all the pop songs, and I don't read. It's not my habit to read.
Okay.
But I watch. So I will go and watch all the videos, and the shows.
Fantasy dinner party. Who do you invite?
Oh, Batman.
Bruce Wayne or Batman?
Batman.
Okay. Does he bring anybody else along?
No.
Mr. Wong, it's been an absolute pleasure. I've Certainly learned a thing or two about yourself, your organisation. If people wanted to know a bit more about you and your firm, how can we find you?
Well, just follow us on LinkedIn, as well as under Wong Heang Fine. You will surely find a lot of news about Surbana Jurong.
Good. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.